I just like to believe I like to believe that the people who made the music I connect to the most were decent people. It's like a fantasy that keeps me going. Yeah, musicians being dicks, I mean, it's a disease. But as a young woman who likes men and the company of men and wants to be close to men and who also loves music and wants music in your life, a lot of the abuses you accept in your romantic life you'll accept in your musical life. So Serge Gainsbourg is somebody that I have always listened to the point of like exhaustion. Like I can't get enough. Every era, the like weird like reggae, like cocaine, heart disease era, all of it. Like I love it all. Like you could like everything. But I am acutely aware of how like hateful and misogynistic a lot of his music is. And I know a bit of French to understand some of his like triple entendres and stuff. And I just think that if I dwell on what he's actually saying, I'll have to come to terms with the violence of it all and the things that that I've tolerated in my own life that people have said to me. And like there's this example of this song. It's like one of my favorite songs ever. It's called La Javanaise. It's a made up word. It has its own sort of imperial, colonial, racialized problematics to it. It's a song that purports to be about Java, which was a French colony, from what I understand. And so there's this song, and like he's singing, and it sounds like this kind of like doo-wop, loungy, like 1950s song, and his voice is so big. Like his voice is the instrument. It's like everything else has been EQ'd down. Like he sings at the level of like the lowest drum. Like I don't know. I don't know that much about EQing and stuff, but he comes out through every layer of the song. Like he could just sing a cappella. Like I don't know, he doesn't really need percussion. And he is singing the song, and for years I was like, what does it mean? Like it's so sensual and like blah blah blah. And it's really like I tried to figure out what it's about, and it's really about him kind of tossing aside a woman who he's used sexually. But he's saying, well, in the moment while we did this sort of dance, the sex or whatever, like, and so I used to think he was like, well, at least like we have that moment. But the actual translation in French is something like, well, at least I came. Sorry if you didn't. And I was like 10 years, like 12 years, like my life is a lie. Like what it I commend him for being such a filthy old codger. Like you really snuck that one by me, but like come on, like what? And I still listen to that song all the time, and I've preserved my fantasies, like romantic fantasies about what I thought it was all about. I can't divest myself of that initial identification with something. I didn't live in the 50s. Like I don't, I didn't, float around in a ballroom somewhere in like post-war Paris. Like I wasn't there, but I have projected all kinds of fantasies into this like space, this space between my head that his like voice comes out of. I don't know. It's difficult because these are things that I think about a lot when I'm listening to music. Well, I haven't listened to anything in a few days because as a rule, I don't listen to music during heartache. I shut down. I don't know. It's like I'm incapable of listening to music. My brain protects me from making associations. some people can like torture themselves with music. My parents had Panis Angelicus as their recessional hymn, I think, at their wedding. And for whatever reason, my mom uh, had that sung at my dad's funeral. And I just thought, like, why would you close the loop like that? And it's a Christmas carol. And it, you hear it sometimes. And like, if you grow up in a Catholic or Anglican sort of tradition, like even if you don't go to church, like you find times where you must be at church. And I don't like I can't do it. It's like I dissociate. Um and I remember, and like I know why it's so bad. It's that bad because not because it played at my dad's funeral. It's bad because I watched my mom kind of torture herself with it. And it was like a weird exercise she was doing, and I don't know how she was able to do it. And I'll never understand why, and I'll never be able to ask what she was feeling in that moment and what it must have been like. And how you could ever so boldly face like pain, because I've spent, a lot of my life like running away from pain. So like literally, because I have like physical pain, but also emotionally. And so I just think, what a peculiar exercise for her. Like, what does she think of when she hears that? Because I think of horrible things, like really terrible things. So it's weird, like trauma and pain and sadness always sort of rests on like on Catholic wings. So the song that I want to go out to and that I want to listen to is "Evil Woman" by Electric Light Orchestra.
Nice.
Yeah, that's the one.